First thing I'm going to do is loosen up these pants.
Oh, for God's sake.
This is a loose fit.
I guess that you can call it a relaxed fit if we wouldn't want Last Podcast Network to sue us. But
no. I actually just need to loosen up my pants.
That's fair. I mean,
it's too tight.
It's a Saturday morning by lazy millennial standards here.
Oh God.
We got our coffees, as I had when I was 6 years old, watching gearing up to watch Garfield. And
yeah, what shows did you watch when you were a wee youth?
I mean, Garfield and Friends was a big one. For some reason, I still can't quite in my brain pinpoint why, but Muppet Babies.
Oh no,
love me some Muppet Babies.
Oh, no. I don't know why that show made me uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
Muppet Babies made you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Anything that I think I knew first as an adult and then they regressed to a baby made me feel uncomfortable. The X-Men did it too, where they had the X-Men babies.
X-Men. I forgot about X-Men babies. That makes me uncomfortable.
They kind of ran a little short of ideas in the 80s for a second.
And when I could catch it, I definitely enjoyed. I think some semblance of enjoyed reruns of the old Super Mario Super Show.
Oh yes,
the Lou Albano one.
Oh my God, that reminds me.
I could rarely find it as a kid because this was like the early '90s. I think that was more of an '80s thing, wasn't it?
I think it was like late '80s, early '90s.
Okay, so I was probably catching the tail end of it then. Is what's happening.
And there were two iterations, right?
Probably,
because there was the one with the live action fella. He was a wrestler, right?
Captain Lou Albano, yeah.
Great. And then there was like just the straight up animated one that I think was more like we were bringing Yoshi in. And
yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. You're right. I do vaguely remember that.
I also had to struggle to find that, and this was way back in the day, before all television was on streaming services. We would occasionally have like, you can enjoy this channel for this week. You can sample this channel for a week.
Yep.
And then talk your parents into paying an extra like $15 for this one show that you like on this one channel. And the one show that I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could watch that was Super Mario. And they put out not even like the full seasons a couple years ago on DVDs, but just like a couple of like the best of episodes.
Yep.
Oh my God, that show is so bad.
It's so ridiculous. I tried to go back and watch some of it in college, and holy shit, it's unbearable. How that actually got made is kind of a wonder. And I mean, I guess that's part of the explanation for why we're not getting a new Mario movie until now. But that brings us to the discussion topic for today. But first, I want to say welcome everybody to DeRazzled, the second unit. This is going to be a bonus episode format that we use from time to time. We weren't planning on testing it until closer to the holiday season, but Nintendo went and dropped some hot news in our laps in the form of a new Mario movie, an animated Mario movie, which I feel like people have been asking for quite a long time. And they also announced the casting of like the first 9 characters.
Just so you know who we are, so that you can send your complaints.
Oh yeah, I'm Joe Nealis. This is Jack Culbertson, the Mario to my Luigi.
Fuck. So one of the cold opens I thought about discussing, but I had like nowhere to go with it. But you just brought it up kind of unintentionally. Is friend of Ramming Speed, our other business venture, and friend in general, Emily Gray, has talked to me at length about how Mario, he doesn't fuck. But Luigi.
Oh, Luigi fucks.
Luigi
no,
fucks.
I will say Luigi fucks. So for that, I'm sorry.
And no, it's fine.
No, because if Mario fucks, you're getting too close into Ron Jeremy territory, I think. And that's
honestly,
you can't do that.
Kind of the problem I had with casting was like, I don't really want to think about.
It was hard to cast. So what we're trying to engage in here today is so there's a lot of outrage about the casting of this new animated feature. A lot of people have a lot of feelings. I think there was a Jezebel headline that I saw that was something along the lines of like, somebody needs to answer for this horrible casting, or I forget the exact title, but it was definitely along those lines. And I've seen a lot of words of, like along the lines of surprising and bewildering thrown around.
So yesterday we were planning. We always plan on shooting today. We were going to do a live watch of Troll 2, which we will do immediately after talking about this. This is kind of like an emergency meeting,
right? Yeah, this is going to be a fairly short episode, but we had to do something with this because like you don't just have a a golden egg drop into your lap there and not make the best omelet that you've ever had.
I guess you can call it a yep. I was in the middle of like eating my morning Captain Crunch. I hate Captain. Why would I pick that?
You have
cereal?
Count Chocula sitting in front of you.
Not at that time. I did not.
I mean, okay,
but I think it was like Cocoa Pebbles. I actually fucking hate Captain Crunch. Fuck you, Captain.
I like Captain Crunch.
It leaves like a weird film on your mouth. And kind of like
it does it cuts your mouth up too. I mean,
we're all just there for the berries anyway. So I was like scrolling through TikTok and somebody's like, I am so mad. I woke up to the news that Chris Pratt is Mario.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard about this, there is Nintendo has greenlit a brand new animated Super Mario film, which again, I feel like people have been asking for ever since the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo live action one.
And Dennis Hopper.
Let's not forget that Dennis Hopper as Donald Trump.
Bowser, he means Bowser.
Also, yes. So real quick, this is going to be how we're going to approach this. We are going to take a moment here to let you know, if you're not personally aware, who was cast in what roles, because they announced 9 roles in the initial rollout of this, and then we are individually going to recast each of those roles and see how our cast compare. And we because there's no way that they're not secretly planning like a Nintendo cinematic universe behind, just back in the shadows amongst all of this. So we also dove in and we each picked 10 unique characters from mostly from the Smash Brothers roster, though we kept one character on each of our lists secret from each other. So we'll find out what that is moving forward here in a little bit. And we're going to see what's going to happen to the larger NCU as if this movie doesn't tank.
I know we're on a bit of a time crunch ish,
but yeah, we should be okay.
I wanted to talk about this in general, and there's a really obscure way we can like shoehorn it into the topic, right? So one of the guests of the original Mario Brothers cartoon with the wrestler fellow with the beard or mustache,
yes,
was Elvira.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, you know where I'm going with this.
I do know where you're going with this.
The news came out.
It came out.
Fuck.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, of whom we are both great fans, released a book, and in which she revealed that she has been in a relationship with another woman for 19 years.
Which her fan base has such a large LGBTQ plus group. You'd like, yeah. I told our friend Aaron this yesterday, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, fair. Like,
I was talking to Becca about it, and she was like, I just kind of always assumed.
Right. Like, Elvira is played by Cassandra Peterson. It's basically her in drag as a woman. So like it always kind of had that vibe anyway. But good for her. Like, I'm glad that because when we got into Elvira a couple of years ago,
we in one of our previous attempts at a podcast, we were going to do a reboot or a new entry in Elvira's film series, and we were really happy with that episode. But it also got like devoured by Audacity for Chromebook. Don't use Audacity for Chromebook. Lesson learned.
Nope. It don't like it.
It don't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And it doesn't like us or anyone else for that matter. It's a misanthropic piece of programming. Anyway,
so reading about her and her life, which like the reason that this information came out was because she has a new autobiography.
Yes,
autobiography.
Yeah.
Yours truly, Elvira. And
excellent title.
Yeah, it's a great title.
Does she talk about being on the Mario show in there?
I don't know. I've gone to watch it.
Yeah,
I have the audiobook, and I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, I downloaded the audiobook. I haven't gotten around to it yet, though.
But I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh man, she was married. She was divorced. I'm like, oh, she didn't find like her Prince Charming. Like, I know I'm projecting part of her character of Elvira onto the person, but that's not true. She did find her Princess Charming.
In a manner of speaking,
So good for her. Has nothing to do with
Yeah.
Mario except for that one episode she cameoed in. But I just really like talking about Elvira.
Yeah, and as Jack and I were discussing this earlier, the official stance of the DeRazzled
Yes.
podcast is that if you have a problem with Elvira coming out, you can meet us at the playground at 4 p.m. for an ass kicking. You know which park. You know which 4 p.m.
The dog park.
We don't talk about the dog park.
About the dog park. So how do we want to do this? You want to go through the actual casting first?
Let's run through the actual
one by one?
Yeah, let's run through the actual casting first. So I think that way we have a baseline and we can jump right in to who we have individually.
Sorry to interrupt. One quick. We have a question from Carrie's Fisher. So Chris Pratt did.
God, I mean, I hope they do.
He said he's going to. He did like a faux version of it when the news was announced.
Yeah,
and people immediately were pissed because it didn't sell. It was awful.
I just watched that before coming over here. He tells this really heartfelt story about being a kid going to an arcade and like stealing a quarter out of a wishing well to play the Super Mario arcade machine. Which that's relatable. Yeah. I like that story. But then he goes for an "It's a me Mario," but he says it in his regular voice, and then goes, "That's not the voice. You guys have to wait to hear the voice." No, fuck you. No, we need a taste to know that you're not just gonna Chris Pratt this up.
So Chris Pratt's Mario.
Chris Pratt's Mario. Moving right down the list here, Princess Peach will be voiced by Anya Taylor-Joy of the Queen's Gambit fame. And coming up soon, Last Night in Soho, which I can't wait for.
The Witch.
The Vavitch, yes.
The Vavitch.
The Vavitch.
She's great. I love her. But we'll get to that.
Luigi is going to be Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Pacific Rim fame. Toad is going to be Keegan-Michael Key. This might be the most baffling piece of casting in my eyes, just I feel like that's a waste of Keegan-Michael Key and just a bad voice match for Toad, but who knows? I mean, he's a talented comedic actor. Maybe he'll do something fun with it. Bowser's going to be Jack Black. Donkey Kong is going to be voiced by Seth Rogen. Cranky Kong is being roped into this and is going to be voiced by Fred Armisen, which I actually really like that casting.
That was the only one I was like, all right.
Yeah, that one I can get behind. Comic, who if you don't know is like the Koopa wizard that pops up as a bad guy in most Mario games, at least like within the past several years.
See, he's a specific wizard though.
He's a specific wizard.
Yeah, he's specifically the one that in Yoshi's Island 2 kidnaps baby Mario. Baby Luigi.
See, I never played that game. That's why I didn't get that. Okay, so he's going to be voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, who if you've been at all familiar with voice acting in cartoons for the past 10 years, he's everywhere. He is absolutely fucking everywhere. He's a great voice actor. If you've watched Gravity Falls, he is the sheriff in Gravity Falls. I forget the character's name offhand, but he's delightful. He sometimes takes over on the show Chowder. He took over a couple episodes as Schnitzel whenever John DiMaggio wasn't in.
I guess you can just do that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he says one word.
Oh, okay.
Like, anyway, and then Spike, it was another like Mario enemy that I could not associate with anything because I didn't know they named these like this particular fucker. It's going to be voiced by Sebastian Maniscalco, the only Italian person that I'm aware of on this list. He's an Italian American comedian, if I'm not mistaken. I know nothing of his work. I'm sorry, Sebastian.
Spike is, I think it first appeared in Mario 3.
I think you're right. Yeah,
very tiny little green fella with a black shell.
Yeah, and they like hork up like spiked balls and throw them at you. Yeah. And in later iterations in like the 3D Mario games, they also have like spiked rolling pin type things or logs that they also vomit from their mouths and throw at you. The digestive system on these things has got to be horrifying. Can we get whoever did like the anatomy of a Fall Guys guy to like draw that?
And Spike is not an individual, unlike Comic.
Unlike Comic. Comic is apparently, as I just learned today, a particular Koopa wizard. Spike is just an entire class of enemies, akin to like Goombas or Koopalangs or things like that.
Great. So honestly, I messaged you yesterday and I was like, this is awful. Like, why would they do this?
So I want to say up front, while like I have some feelings about this. Jack has some big feelings about this. A lot of people on the internet have a lot of feelings about this. I just want to say up front, we have no idea if this casting is actually going to be good or not. Yeah. They could surprise us. I personally was very affronted whenever Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker in The Dark Knight, and it turned out he was amazing. He was so good. So who knows? Chris Pratt might knock it out of the park. Charlie Day might be the Luigi of our dreams.
So
Keegan-Michael Key might make us feel things for Toad we didn't know were possible. I mean, who knows?
Honestly, I think he might.
He might. Like, if anyone's going to pull that off, it's that man.
So, Batman 89, Michael Keaton was cast as Batman. People freaked out.
And look how that turned out.
Was great. And then, as you mentioned, Heath Ledger was cast as Joker in The Dark Knight, and people freaked out. Not me, though.
I did.
I knew.
I did. I will willfully admit I was wrong there, and I couldn't have been more happy to be wrong. He was so good.
He was in a movie called The Brothers Grimm by Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Where he plays a very, like, the nice brother to the Joker, almost. Like, the same kind of mania. And I was like, all right, no, I believe in you. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to jump on in here to who we would cast in each of these roles. So you're just going to take it from the top with Mario?
Yeah.
Okay, so who do you have for Mario, Jack?
This was surprisingly hard.
It was tough. Mario is actually really hard to cast. If you're that's actually another note. I personally had changed my my approach to this while we were in the process of doing this in the past 24 hours. I initially was going to say, no, it has to be the original voices from the games. So I had, in my original list, I had Charles Martinet, the current voice of Mario, who's been the voice of Mario since like 96, I think, set in this role. But then as I was going through, I realized like he voices too many characters. He's already also Luigi currently. He's several other people in the games. Like every one of these people, like the voice actress for Princess Peach also voiced as Toad. There's like these characters, like these actors do so much for these games. It would be unrealistic to expect them to cast that way for a feature film. So I threw that methodology out the window. And yeah.
So what I want to say up front is the thing that was hardest about this was if you're casting Mario, then you want to keep who you're casting for Luigi in mind, right? Because they need to play off of each other. Same thing with Princess Peach. So I tried, but it's not good. So I cast Danny DeVito because of course I did.
I can see that.
And like I mentioned before, we're getting a little too close to Ron Jeremy territory, especially with Danny DeVito, especially with like modern current day Danny DeVito.
Sure. Well, I'd say maybe less so with modern day Danny DeVito. He's way grayer and balder now.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking of like Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, when they've like done him up with the hair dye and everything. Yeah, that's okay. That's its own thing. Sure.
What do you got?
So actually, I went a different direction with this. I couldn't think of anybody that would actually be a solid fit, so I just swung for the fences on a weird choice and went with David Dastmalchian, Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad.
Oh God!
Because we know that he has a penchant for playing weird characters, and we've seen him do accented characters. How well is subjective. But
aside from Polka Dot Man, and I know he has a part in The Dark Knight.
The Ant-Man films, he plays one of the goons in that criminal gang who has like a thick Eastern European accent of some sort,
undefinable Eastern European.
Yeah. It's like he's Tommy Wiseauing it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be fun to see. I think that his star is on the rise enough to where he could land that kind of role.
What's weird is I considered him for Luigi.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't go with him, but I thought about it.
That's awesome.
For Princess Peach, because I cast Danny DeVito, and I originally was just going to keep Anya Taylor-Joy because I do like her a lot.
Me too.
But I was like, I won't do that to her. Cast her opposite Danny DeVito. I needed like an older actress.
I don't know. I'm morbidly curious how that would go.
Uncomfortable. So I went with Rosario Dawson because I haven't seen her in a minute, and I love her.
Okay, I actually almost went that exact route. I thought Rosario Dawson for a moment, just voice-wise. I think she would be fun. I actually went with Jessica Chastain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she has a lightness and a playfulness to her voice that I think would lend itself very well to the role of Peach. But
she's also very versatile.
She's a versatile actress for sure.
Make it happen. For Luigi, who again is currently Charlie Day. This one is a bit of a stretch. John Mulaney.
A controversial choice. Okay. I could see it. I actually would really enjoy John Mulaney. I mean, he already has some voice acting experience from Enter the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Ham, right?
He was Spider-Ham. Yeah, and he did. I loved him in that role. I don't know how well it necessarily translates to Luigi, though I do believe he would give it his all and it would be a fun performance. I went with Joe Lo Truglio from from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Wet Hot American Summer, and just
I'll nod my head because I don't know why I threw those references.
Okay,
I agree.
So if you've seen those things, you guys know he is a very awkward, very higher pitched voice. He knows how to lean into weirdness of situations, and I think that he could play up the comedic relief and cowardice of that Luigi has been built into over the past several games. I think he would be a lot of fun, and something about him and Das Malkian together, I think, would be enjoyable.
So remember when I was like, "Oh yeah, Luigi Fox." Well, the reason that how do you say his name, Das Malkian?
Yeah.
The reason he didn't get the part was I was like, "Nah, he doesn't." So I'm sure you do. I'm sure I've seen the pictures of you with Polka Dot Cat, and you're very gentle.
Oh
yeah. For Toad, I also went with kind of a weird choice, comedic person, Aquafina.
See, I also went with a weird choice comedic person, but I went with Kristen Schaal.
Okay. All right. Aquafina is from Shang-Chi most recently.
Yeah, that's her most recent role. She was also in...
She was in the second most... the most recent Jumanji Into the... Nope, whatever.
The Rock, Jack Black, Kevin Hart.
Jumanji with old people.
Because Donald Glover and Danny DeVito are in that one. Yeah, I have not seen that.
It's actually I'm mad because I want to hate it for who I am, but no, I actually really enjoyed it.
That's what I've heard. Is those new ones are actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. See, Aquafina, I worry. I see the voice. I think is the biggest issue. I think with her is like she would make it her own. Yes. I would say she's a very strong performer, so I think that she would do something very unique with that role.
Well, I went with her because I went with Rosario Dawson, and I want to see those two act with each other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Rosario Dawson was Princess Peach. Who was your person from?
I said Kristen Schaal. So she's from Flight of the Conchords. She is from Bob's Burgers. She's from...
You know what? Yeah, she's a better choice. Yeah. I like her.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of it is just based on the way she screams.
I do love Aquafina, but like, you're right. That's a better choice. So when I chose Aquafina, I derailed myself entirely, and everything after her is bonkers. What? So for Bowser, I went with Nicolas Cage.
Jesus fucking Christ, Jack!
I
don't you. We're live, like we're recording this.
I know I'm. Don't say his name again.
Like so he'll accept the role. You know he will.
I haven't played that many Mario games after like Yoshi's Island 2, right? So the most of the personality that I have is from that and like 3 episodes of the Mario show. So his choice is painted a little by the voice actor who did Bowser in the cartoon, which is fucking weird.
Very.
And I kind of like the idea of Bowser having a little bit of like a depressive issue, which I think Nick Cage can bring to it. Because so later, and you already know this, I chose to cast King K. Rool, which is very similar to Bowser, and I couldn't have both of them be like megalomaniac, shouty fellas, which is why I was like, oh, Nick Cage, he can do both.
He could do both. Yeah. Yeah, I went a very different direction with this. So I thought Bowser's a classic villain at this point. Like he has stood the test of time through the 80s, through every iteration of the Mario franchise. He is, as far as that world is concerned, evil incarnate. So I thought when you're finding a voice actor to voice evil, how do you not pick Clancy Brown?
Oh yeah.
So that was my choice. Like he knocks it out of the park with Red Death and the Venture Brothers. He's amazing as Surtur in Thor Ragnarok.
I didn't know that was him.
That was Clancy Brown,
and he can do comedy.
So well. Like, yeah, this is like, if you were to take like the midpoint between Red Death and Mr. Krabs, then I think you have Bowser.
That's Bowser.
I think you have Bowser there. So I think he would
still
kill
believe
it.
in you. I'm not gonna say your name a third time because you'll appear, but nah, Clancy Brown. That's pretty good. You got me there. So for Donkey Kong, they currently have Seth Rogen, who I don't think is the worst choice.
Nah, I think he could be fun.
But my choice is painted specifically because I first played Donkey Kong Country 2, which is Diddy and Dixie, I think. The brother and sister.
Yeah, I think you're right, because then 3 was Dixie and like the baby.
Yes.
It's a weird series of games.
I love them. They're great, and the soundtrack is just like.
Oh yeah, the music in those games rules.
So because that was the first one I played, my first exposure, I always thought of Donkey Kong as more of a fatherly figure, which is why I cast John Goodman.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. John Goodman, I can get behind that. I went a different route entirely. I can see why you'd want to go the fatherly route though, because he's wearing a tie. He's wearing a tie. Dads wear ties. Yeah. You also cast Diddy Kong later on, if I'm not mistaken.
I did.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking along those lines. I went. Donkey Kong. I mean, he started off as like the original Mario villain.
He was an asshole.
But he transitioned into the star of his own series,
just like John Goodman.
I can't argue with that. God, what he did to all those cats. I'm cutting that. I went with Vin Diesel.
That's really weird because I also thought about Vin Diesel.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided there's something about like that gruff, actiony persona felt fitting for Donkey Kong to me, and I think he'd be a really good setup as like the tentpole of that like branch of the MCU that will inevitably come to claim us all.
Cranky Kong, I had a really, aside from the one other character, right, we talked about, like, he was probably the hardest one I had to cast.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't recast him. I kept Fred Armisen.
No, I mean, he honestly probably should as well. But I wanted somebody who sounded older but mean, and that's where I had trouble. Especially because a lot of the actors I wanted to go with are dead. So I went,
you did have that issue a little bit here and there.
Well, because like I also wanted, not that he's passed, but he's not acting in the same way anymore. But Tim Curry, I was like, I could put him there, and here, and here.
I mean, voice acting, he could probably still.
So?
Yeah, I think he could still kill some voice acting, but that
I hope so. So I went with Tommy Chong.
I didn't see that coming.
Who has worked with Nick Cage before?
He has worked. You said it again.
Shit. Be careful. This is coming for us. He just has that really old, tired man voice. I've never seen him do a mean character, but I think he might.
I think he has it in him. I think that he could summon some curmudgeon for this.
Switch his weed out for some like crack rock, and we'll see it. So who did? Oh, you went with Fred Armisen. That's right.
I kept Fred Armisen. Yeah, I think he's aged enough to this point to where I think he's old enough to make it work, and has the comedic chops to make it certainly weird, which Cranky Kong as a character already is just fucking weird.
Yeah.
So.
How do you say this character's name? I've been saying Kamek.
I've been saying Kamek, but I really,
have no idea.
Yeah. Nintendo, please give us a pronunciation guide
and a sponsorship. So this comes specific because I have fond memories of the live action Mario movie.
I mean, hell yeah.
I remember renting it and watching it and doing the weird like whatever hand motion they do with my brother. So I knew before anything happened I was gonna put John Leguizamo somewhere. And here he is as a weird baby stealing wizard, John Leguizamo.
Oh god, you almost made him sound like Janosch from Ghostbusters 2. You've opened a rift in time just now.
I want to live in the universe where John Leguizamo played Janosch.
I actually really like that. I I'm upset that I like that so much because I really like this is the only other role I did not recast because again I really like Kevin Michael Richardson as a voice actor, and I would not want him to lose this opportunity because he's just so fun. He's
I need to look up his work because
you really should. I know you have heard him in several things. He has such an extensive resume that I could not even begin to.
Which like voice actors are like that, where you're like, wait, you were both a Power Ranger and Satan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Spike. I've never heard the work of Sebastian.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them.
But I like the image of somebody horking up a literal spike ball, and I was like, who makes like a really pained like, and I went with John C. Reilly.
I like that. I really like that idea. He
can't really control it. It's just on a timer, like every 10 seconds or so, just like the spike ball. I thought about Will Arnett, but then I was like, no, he'll make me feel bad about it.
He would make you feel awful about it the whole time.
Where John C. Reilly's able to take something that like, well, that's upsetting, but also somehow funny.
I could roll with that.
Yeah.
So I went a slightly different direction, similar but different direction.
Shut up. Sorry, I just peeked.
So I decided if you're horking up a spiked ball like that, your esophagus is going to be pretty rough. Your vocal cords are going to be pretty rough. So I decided you're going to have a deep, gravelly, worn voice. And the best example of that I could think of is Brad Garrett.
He was my second choice for Donkey Kong.
No shit.
Yeah.
He would be. I'd like him as Donkey Kong.
I had a couple places I want to cast him. I didn't end up going with him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that covers everyone that's actually been cast in these movies. We'll take a quick break here to pay some bills and make sure the lights are on, and then we'll come back and let you know who we were going to cast in additional roles.
We're back.
Welcome back. All right, so like we said, there's no possible way that Nintendo is not secretly planning and their own cinematic universe if this Mario film does well, because they have some of the most recognizable characters in all of video game history. They have left an indelible mark on pop culture as we know it, and will for generations, I'm sure. So we took it upon ourselves to look forward and try and best establish who's going to further that legacy.
Yeah,
or inflict these characters upon us.
So we try to pick the ones that are most likely to be in a crossover film, but also some favorites of ours. And the first one I cast was Samus from Metroid. She was always my go-to with any Smash Brothers game, and I love her. And I also love Samara Weaving. She is such a fantastic actress. Fantastic actress. If you have not seen Ready or Not, do go.
Yeah, Ready or Not. I was not prepared for how good that movie was. I went and saw that with Vince and Emily before their wedding.
Oh, really?
And yeah, we were not prepared for how good that movie was going to be. Absolutely incredible.
It's one of the few movies I watched it, and then a couple days later, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna watch this because it's so good. Because I don't really watch movies back to back unless I have to for the show. And I still enjoyed it. She was also in Guns Akimbo.
She was in Guns Akimbo. That's right.
You won't even recognize her because she's really really good at changing her look.
Absolutely.
I think she was in The Babysitter, which is another horror film. She's got this really great scream, which sounds weird, but like for like horror movies, you want like a good scream that's both like not ear shattering, but also like, it affects everyone in the room. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't break your ears, but it is blood curdling.
Yeah. She was also in Ash versus Evil Dead in the first season. Again,
I did not realize that.
Yeah, I think honestly, this is not even a little bit true, but I want to say they killed her off after a couple episodes just so she didn't steal the show.
Huh.
Anyway, watch it.
All right, so my first character that I cast was our favorite pink friend-shaped friend, Kirby. Actually, just played a little bit of Kirby last night for the first time in years, since I think like the Game Boy era. And I made a weird choice. I'm not entirely sure that I can back this choice up on reflection, but I decided upon Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson.
What? Would she be doing Bart?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh God, no. She's not going. No, she's not going to do Kirby with the voice of Bart Simpson. She is the voice of Bart Simpson, but she's going to do Kirby.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be. But if she did,
imagine Kirby saying "Eat my shorts," but then he eats your shorts and gains their power.
No. It was destined to be. The next character I did is from my absolute favorite video game franchise of all time, Simon Belmont from Castlevania.
Yes.
I don't even know what else to say. I love everything about Castlevania. And Simon is specifically a barbarian type of dude. So I went with Brendan Fraser.
I was thinking about trying to use him somewhere just because I want to continue the Fraser Renaissance that's happening. Great. I love him. I'm thrilled that he's back and doing shit. And I think that fits. That's a cool extension of his mummy clout.
It's he can do the action adventure stuff.
Yep.
He can do the big meathead bonehead stuff.
Yep.
I think George of the Jungle.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. And then he can also do drama in just his voice because he's in Doom Patrol right now as Robot Man, and he can both be funny as hell.
I still need to watch that.
Kind of a douchebag, but also like, oh man, you're for a literal robot with no facial expressions. You kind of crushed my soul a little bit there. It's very good.
Yes, I want it. Step in my soul, Brendan Fraser. So in a couple of these roles, I repurposed actors from the actual cast that we've received from Nintendo. So the next character I went with was Wario, because if you're gonna jump into Mario,
right,
you can't ignore Wario. Like he could just be a post-credit scene where you're setting up another villain for a sequel, something. He's just a peripheral character. He's the pain in the ass, whatever. He's Jack Black.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think Jack Black would make an amazing Wario.
Oh my God.
I think the humor is so in his wheelhouse.
So, because you went with Wario, I'll jump ahead to Waluigi.
Oh, good. I was hoping that he didn't get the shaft like in Smash Brothers. So
no, I think didn't they announce he's coming?
No, as far as I'm aware, no. I think they're still leaving us hanging on that.
That's not nice.
No, it's not.
I struggled with him a little bit until I remembered what and you might have to help me with the pronunciation of this until I remembered what Richard Ayoade. Wow,
Richard Ayoade.
Yeah, when I remembered his voice, I was like, he can get it like a pitch higher.
Yeah, I think
with
that
like same nasally. Yeah. So I know him from IT Crowd.
Yeah,
he's in a ton of other stuff.
Oh yeah, his resume is extensive. Most recently, you've probably heard him in voicing a droid in The Mandalorian. He directed an episode of that too, if I'm not mistaken. And he's great. He's excellent. I love Richard Ayoade. Yeah, excellent choice. Great Waluigi. I bet he would do it. Let's set him a contract.
But like him and Jack Black acting off each other, I want it so bad. Maybe they'll give us that. I've never played a Wario or Waluigi game, but
I would. I mean, I absolutely would. Okay, moving on. So now I'm gonna start. Actually, you know what? I think before I break away from the core Mario-esque character, actually, I've already done that with Kirby, haven't I?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm just gonna keep going straight down the list here. So, like I said, we got a lot of this inspiration for characters from the Smash Brothers roster, and when I play Smash Brothers, my main is Link. I've always loved Link. I've loved The Legend of Zelda. I have played most of the games in the series. There's a bunch of older ones and Skyward Sword that I have not played yet, though I have the Switch remake of it. I need to get to it. Given Link is a silent protagonist, you never actually hear him talk outside of grunts and shouting and yelling and being hurt. So I decided the person who could best embody that and also like lend a real heart to a character who will have to inevitably speak is Oscar Isaac.
Oh yeah, I wanted to find him a place as well, but
yeah, I love his work.
So good.
He's amazing. Just I think I first saw him in Ex Machina, if I'm not mistaken.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately after that, X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, I skipped that. I didn't want to.
It's so bad. Don't watch it.
He was in the newest Star Wars.
He was in the new Star Wars movies.
A Most Violent Year. He's a fantastic actor.
He's great. Yeah, I'm so excited to see him in Dune.
But definitely watch Ex Machina for his dance number.
Yeah. Oh, that scene rules.
So good. I'm gonna jump a little bit so I can tackle the rest of the Mario people.
Sure.
Yoshi.
You need a Yoshi.
You need a Yoshi, and the live action is just a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But if it's an animated thing, we're casting voices. Tom Holland.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a weird term from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They both have sticky things about them, I guess. But
that's why I cast them. I was like, they're both sticky.
I mean, wasn't that why Tom Holland was cast? He's just like
he's a naturally sticky person.
Preternaturally sticky.
Yeah, they just threw actors against the wall, and they're like, whichever one sticks gets the part.
Holy shit, this kid's Velcro. Yeah, I hate it.
He just has a very like. I imagine Yoshi as being a child for some reason, which is weird because he's technically older than Mario. But he's got that like childishness in my. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, it's Tom Holland. Give me a call, Tom.
I like that we're like assuming that we're going to play agent and negotiator for these roles.
Well, and we're gonna direct and produce the Wario Waluigi.
No, we can shoot that in 2 weeks, right?
I'm sure we can.
Okay, so next on my list, moving on from Link, I went straight to Zelda, and this I think would actually be a better fit for Anya Taylor-Joy. I think her vocal range and her dynamic performance, I think, would lend itself more to an action-oriented character like Zelda. I think, especially if we were to get a Legend of Zelda movie, and there were some moments where she got to play around as Sheik, would be excellent.
She was in the not at all very good New Mutants as Ilyana Rasputin.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, she was good. The movie, it's upsetting because there's like so much good potential. Anyway, so she can do the action adventure. And I think, is she in the new Furiosa movie? Is she Furiosa?
I think she is Furiosa. Yeah, I think that's correct.
I was gonna keep her as Peach, but her voice is too young. And is Zelda a princess or a queen?
Princess.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one weird thing with like Rosario Dawson. Like, she's not too old to be a princess.
Yeah, her father is the king of Hyrule.
Queen Peach. Next, I'll do Diddy Kong because I did Donkey Kong.
Okay.
So keeping in mind that John Goodman is Donkey Kong, for Diddy Kong, which is that his son or his like nephew?
I genuinely can't remember. I want to say it might be nephew, but who knows?
Nobody wants to think about Donkey Kong having carnal relations. Anyway.
I especially don't want to think about Donkey Kong voiced by Seth Rogen having carnal relations. Just, but
Finn Wolfhard.
I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. He's Stranger Things. He's in the newest iteration of It, in It Chapter 2.
Yep.
He's in the new Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah. He's one of Egon's grandkids, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see that. Okay, moving right along. So this Mario movie needs more women. Like, objectively, just like they're like the only woman cast is Peach. So we need to add Daisy to further flesh that cast out a little bit. So I added her in, and I think that Kate McKinnon would make that a great role. She would go from like an ancillary, like almost Peach clone, to having a personality and being fun to watch, because Kate McKinnon is great in everything she does.
Would she be like you said, she starts out as basically a Peach clone, and then the more you get to know her, like the weirder she is?
Yes.
Where she's like, I got a collection of rocks. I've named them A to Z. I don't know what weird people do.
I don't know where this came from.
I have no idea. It's early in the morning for us. Normally when we record, it's the evening. So my brain is not. I've only had one cup of coffee so far.
Same.
So I think that's all like the key Nintendo-ish characters. Yeah. Keeping in Donkey Kong Country, King K. Rool.
Yeah.
You broke my heart yesterday because we made the stipulation that all the casting has to be current day.
Yep.
So that means no actors too fast. And I immediately saw King K. Rool, Divine.
Yeah,
Immediately was like, of course.
I admittedly accidentally got a peek at his list and I saw that and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look, but I have a concern. I don't think this person's alive. And sure enough, unfortunately, Divine passed in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which, God, she would be so much fun to put into something like this.
I want to work with Divine so badly. Divine was Pink Flamingo. It works with John Waters a lot.
A lot.
Pink Flamingo and Polyester is amazing.
Yeah.
But I went with Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe could rock King K. Rool.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were going live action, he's obviously the perfect Waluigi.
Right.
But I think voice acting wise, nailed it.
What do you even pick for Willem Dafoe movies? He was in everything.
I don't know.
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse most recently. Norman Osborn in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film.
He was in Platoon.
The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yeah. If you don't know who Willem Dafoe is, you can just turn this off.
Some Lars von Trier stuff that would probably negate him from being in children's media.
Yeah. What else did you pick?
I think I have two more from the actual Mario world here. So Bowser Jr.
Oh yeah.
So I think if you've played Super Mario Sunshine, I think that's where they introduced Bowser Jr. and he has become a fixture ever since then. Most recently in the Bowser's Fury expansion on Super Mario World 3D. Some people like him, some people don't, whatever. I think that he could be a very fun role to include. Originally I had thought I'm going to recast him as Charlie Day so I can keep Charlie Day in this.
Yeah.
But I actually think Keegan-Michael Key would do a better job.
All right. I wanted to keep him in the loop.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of thinking Bowser Jr. was the Bowser in Mario Yoshi's Island 2, which is not true. That's
no.
That's Bowser Sr.
Yes.
As Baby. Okay. Also played by Keegan-Michael Key. So you've been calling it something else. I've been calling it Tetris. What?
Oh, so no, the Tetris pieces are called Tetraminos. Yeah, they have a name.
Dude, I tried to Google that, but I got distracted because there's a rating. I don't even know who rated it, but Tetris 2.5 out of 5.
Fucking
you monsters.
What? Who the fuck did that?
I don't know. I threw my phone. I actually don't have a phone anymore. Originally, I had said Daniel Day-Lewis.
I need you all to think for a minute of Daniel Day-Lewis method acting as a Tetramino.
If you don't know who Daniel Day-Lewis is, he takes acting more serious than any actor who's ever lived.
It's insane.
Except that one actor who killed his mom because he was in a Shakespearean play.
Ugh.
Anyway,
I was not aware of that. That's horrible.
There's a Michael Shannon movie where he plays that actor.
Oh.
And I'll look it up later. Anyway, so I was like, oh, like as hilarious as that would be, because the Tetraminos don't talk, it would just be Michael or Daniel Day-Lewis writhing on the floor. I was like, well, if you're writhing on the floor, you need to be more flexible. So you obviously want Doug Jones.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Wait, but that's thinking live action.
So the way I justified this, because the Tetraminos don't make any sound, is and I could be wrong about this, but I want to say they shot most of Rango live action, and then they're like, this would actually be better animated. Which
wait, really? Is that how that worked?
It's probably not true, but I'm gonna go with it anyway.
So, so what I'm imagining here is they're actually filming Doug Jones for his scenes in a Tetramino suit or various Tetramino suits to fit the sizes and formats.
I thought he just kind of bend into the.
He probably could, and that he's just kind of falling on the floor, and they're basically doing it like Foley.
Are you familiar with rotoscope?
Yes.
They're just rotoscoping him.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that won't be jarring and bizarre at all.
Which is his whole shtick.
Honestly, it's true. Yeah. No, I'll give that to you. All right. Next on my list, I went with Rosalina to again add more women into this cast and to bring some more recent Mario lore into things. So if you're not familiar with Rosalina, she was introduced in Super Mario Galaxy, which was 2007, I think. She is a sort of celestial type being who flies around in a comet-like space station, taking care of these little star baby things.
I was not familiar with her.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I put her on my list. I could not for the life of me think of somebody good. But thank you to Kotaku for posting a list of characters that they think should be added in beyond what's already been announced. They cast Margot Robbie as Rosalina,
Right.
and I will take that. I will absolutely borrow that one. Thank you, Kotaku.
She was one of the people I thought of for Samus, but I'm like, Samara Weaving. She's more.
Honestly, yeah. I think I would take Samara Weaving over Margot Robbie in that
Samara
particular
Weaving
role.
Somehow wants it just a little bit more. Margot Robbie wants it a lot.
Yeah,
but Samara Weaving wants it
just a little bit more. She's hungry.
Yeah. What else do I have? So, Snake. Yeah.
Like Solid Snake, like Metal Gear Solid Snake.
Yeah. Which I've played Smash Brothers with him in it, and it's so weird just to see him running around like, Snake, what are you doing here? And I originally had thought about Willem Dafoe, but instead I went with Michael Rooker.
Oh, Michael Rooker could potentially, maybe a little old for Snake, but if you're going like Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain Snake, then that could work. Oh my god, that's so weird.
He has a great distinct voice. He is what, Yondu or something?
He is Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. He is Savant in the new Suicide Squad. He is Brandy Svenning's dad in Mallrats, the guy who eats the chocolate covered pretzels.
He's in every James Gunn film.
Yeah.
He was the bad guy in Slither. I knew him specifically from Walking Dead.
Right, yeah, he was Merle in Walking Dead.
And Henry from Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, which he is terrifying in. I highly recommend the movie, unless you're eating at the time.
Don't do that. Bad idea. All right, we are behind on time.
I know. It's cool. If they're here, they're here.
So I'm actually gonna drop two on you at the same time here, because this is actually a duo as it is. I cast both Banjo and Kazooie. Since we're getting into the Donkey Kong side of things, and thus Rare's contribution to Nintendo's canon since the Super Nintendo, I cast Banjo as John DiMaggio and Kazooie as Billy West. So,
hell yeah, okay.
Classic voice acting duo. Most familiar, I'm sure, for people from Futurama as Philip J. Fry and Bender Bending Rodriguez, reverse respectively in the order that I named them. I just really like the idea of DiMaggio kind of having the lead role between the two of them, since it's always been like the reverse, or typically been the reverse, particularly in Futurama.
And again, they're both voice actors who've been in everything.
Yeah, like name a cartoon, they're in it.
Yeah,
they're
So I guess my last one before we go into the secrets is I went with Duck Hunt, because apparently Duck Hunt is a character you can play in Smash Brothers.
They are, yeah. The Duck Hunt dog is a character you can play in Smash Brothers now,
which is weird. So
fighting games are fucking weird, dude.
I hated that dog so much. He's a dog that like laughs at you if you're like
he snickers at you. Yeah,
he's such an asshole. So I actually cast the dog and the duck.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, specifically because I wanted to use this one actor so badly, but I couldn't find a place for him. So for the dog, I went with Jonah Hill.
I don't think he'd do it.
No, he wouldn't. But in this world where I'm allowed to get these people, I would get Jonah Hill.
Fair.
Because it's definitely like younger Jonah Hill.
Oh, younger Jonah Hill would absolutely do this. Yeah, like pre 21 Jump Street Jonah Hill, I think would absolutely do this.
Like I was thinking like Superbad.
Yeah, Superbad Jonah Hill would do this 100%.
And then for Duck, I have Alan Tudyk.
Yes,
because I just need him in here somewhere.
I don't care how successful Alan Tudyk gets; he will do this any day of the week.
Yeah, well, he was the chicken.
He was the chicken in Moana. Like that's one of my favorite behind the scenes things is him doing that and then like turning around going, "I went to Juilliard."
He's so good.
Okay, so our secret characters. I actually want to hear yours first.
Okay. So originally I told you this. I went with Pac-Man, and I could not find it.
I was genuinely surprised you had him on your list.
I picked characters I mostly knew from my childhood, and I've played some Pac-Man. And I wanted John Ritter, R.I.P.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So I eventually had to choose a different character, so I went with Mew.
Mew.
Yeah.
Okay, so you dipped into the Pokemon well.
I did, because I saw that, like, I didn't know who you'd pick, so I was like, oh, we have no Pokemon. And I wanted to do it in the way that they're only saying their name, kind of like the cartoon did. So it's just Mew, and it's Adam Driver. There's like, he has such a versatile voice, and he can do angry so well.
Mew.
Yeah, but he could do that a million different ways. Like right now, there's the TikTok meme going around where it's like, good soup.
I'm not familiar with this.
It's from anyway. I love him. He's angry boy in Star Wars.
Now, no wait. You said Mew. Do you mean Mewtwo?
Nope.
No, you mean Mew. Okay.
Because to me, it's funnier to have this angry tiny magic
just
cat.
a really pissed off
Right.
little floaty Mew.
Whereas like Mewtwo can actually be kind of scary.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes.
Whereas like I want that. Yeah.
Okay. So my secret character, Jack, have you ever played the game The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask?
No. I've only played Link to the Past.
Okay.
And the original.
Are you at all familiar with the character Tingle? Okay, so you're aware of the idea in Legend of Zelda?
I'm a bad gamer. I stick to my like 3 franchises, and that's it.
You're aware of the idea that there are fairies in this world? Like there's the great fairies, there's the little fairies that help you do stuff. There's like the navigation fairies that like tell you how to do shit. So Tingle's a 40-year-old man who thinks he's a fairy. Okay. He floats on a balloon to like be up in the air and flying and shit, and he's absolutely ridiculous and wonderful, and he has to be Justin McElroy.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And he has to be animated to look like
Justin McElroy. Yeah, it's literally animated as well as you can. Like take that unsettling like elf-faced pixel art Justin McElroy they use in a bunch of promo stuff and flesh that out into an actual cartoon that is then dressed as a fairy.
So when I edit, we're if you're watching this on the podcast, we're also going to post the live stream of this with video.
Yes,
and I will absolutely have a picture of Justin McElroy, the pixie.
Yeah, there's a particular like pixelated version of his face that they use in like stickers and in promotional stuff.
Yeah,
it's
so that is our
haunting.
You're welcome, Nintendo. We did all the work for you. We fixed that mistake you made.
We'll send you our bill. Or you could sponsor us.
And I have some video games I need to play, apparently.
I mean, same constantly, but you know.
Yeah. Before we switch over to the next thing we're doing, we did get sponsorship on Anchor.
Thank you all for listening and downloading and following us and like helping us get to this point. That's super exciting.
And only after 2 episodes.
Only after 2 episodes. Yeah, I feel like that's fast. So
and not to mention our Facebook group went from like no one to I think over 100.
We're like 108 people liking or 109 people. Yeah, like you're all lovely. I love all of you. You're fantastic. Thank you. Spread the word. Continue to keep throwing the RSS link or the other like links to the show in various places out there. Like, subscribe, review.
You can even donate if
you can even donate if you want.
Of quarters.
If you go to our new website, DeRazzled.com. It is DeRazzled.com, right? Yeah. So Jack has set up a PayPal link there. We might have announcements about a Patreon in the future. We're still kind of like working out details about stuff. Yeah, but in the meantime, that's all there. So thank you all for checking us out again, and be sure to check us out again next week, because this is going to be a bonus episode where we are sure to
razzle dazzle you.
There it is.
It's caught me off guard. So we're gonna basically we're all gonna close our eyes, and then come back in like 5 minutes.
So we're gonna shut down the stream here for just a second to like finish getting the stuff set up for Troll. I know we're a little bit behind schedule. Thank you for your patience, but we're gonna get Troll 2 going here. It is free with ads on YouTube,
which is where we'll be.
Which is where we're gonna be watching it, so you can follow along. Let us know what ads you get. We'll see if we get the same ads. So that this is gonna be our faces as we usually do. I don't think we're putting the film up on the actual, what's it?
Correct.
Yeah. So follow along with us there. We will count in when we're going to start playing so you can match it up with us, and we will be back very shortly.